After the success of the Christopher Ward the 12 in 40mm that I also reviewed, it was only a matter of time before they released a smaller version. And here it is, the 12 in a smaller 36mm package. In my review of the original 40mm variant, I compared it to the Tissot PRX and concluded that both are too big for my wrist, that the 12 is a better watch than the PRX, but that I would still choose the PRX because it captured the integrated bracelet design better. The 12 had an over-designed aesthetic about it and looked like a regular round watch with a wide bracelet, while the PRX was more toned down and looked like a bracelet that has a watch integrated into it, which is what I believe these Genta-inspired watches should be like. After I made that video, I went out and tried the 35mm PRX, hoping to add it to my collection, but found it too small for my 6.5-inch wrist, and that comes from a guy who regularly wears 35mm vintage pieces. The reason is that the same shape that makes the 40mm PRX look so good, with the body being wide and the dial really small, on the 35mm version the dial seemed almost the size of a 30mm ladies watch. Saying I was disappointed that one was too big and another too small is an understatement, so when Christopher Ward asked to send this in for a review, I accepted more out of courtesy, being sure I will have the same problems with it like I did with the 40mm. Too flashy, over-designed, with too many and too large facets, and the round watch with a wide bracelet feel, instead of that feel PRX gave of a bracelet with a watch integrated into it. All I can say is that I was very, very wrong. By dropping the size to 36mm, it completely transformed the 12. Because it is smaller, more of the bracelet is visible on my wrist, giving the same feel the 40mm PRX gave me. Because the lug-to-lug is so short, it stays under 50mm even if you include the first two links. Also, the over-designed facets I disliked on the 40mm 12 are smaller on this, making them less flashy and more refined. And the lack of a date makes the whole watch simpler while adding to the visual appeal. I honestly couldn't believe that a drop in size could make such a great impact on the way the watch looks and feels on wrist. But it made me happy I accepted to do a review of it, as the sour taste of not being able to find the PRX that fits my wrist has been replaced with me wanting this, as now I find this more attractive. And since the rest of the specs are the same as the 40mm version, it also makes it a better watch than the PRX, with only the price being an issue in direct comparison. There are several dial variants pretty much mimicking the 40mm version, but I opted for this Arctic White because I wanted to see the rose gold markers and hands in person, and have to say it is a very pretty and very legible combination. Some might find it a little feminine, but I like it. If you have a wrist up to 7 inches, I would definitely go for the 36 to get that bracelet with a watch attached to it feel I mentioned several times. But if your wrist is over 7 or 7.5, I would go for the 40mm, as this would probably look too small, the way 35mm PRX looked on my wrist. I always say on my channel that I love when brands offer more sizes for a single model, as watches, just like shoes, cannot be one size fits all. So kudos to Christopher Ward for making this. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and until the next video, bye.